Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Rotor Talk Live, Season 4, Episode 9, DJI FPV Drone Launch, Complete Review. Hope everyone is doing well on this Tuesday evening. How about it? It's just like you couldn't, for me, I think it was fantastic that it fell on a Tuesday. I mean, as luck would have it. So Ron and Marcus are going to join us here in a little bit. So we're looking forward to that. First of all, let's see who we have in the house. Matt Cundiff is here, Ray Kelly's here, Ted Bowman is here, Jay Bird is here. Who else we got? Oh, Tex Arch Drone Guy. How are you, my friend? See who else is in here. Looks like that's it for now. Okay. Drone Media. Hey, how are you? All right. Well, it's out. And once again, no surprises. Okay, that's an understatement as far as people are concerned. One of the interesting things was, I did watch quite a few videos, and we're going to talk about that when we get our all-star review panel here going. But I was surprised about who did not get one, and that was Dustin Dunhill. I mean, I love Dustin. I love his videos, and he puts out some quality videos. And I thought if anybody, he was going to have a fantastic video. And I go out, and I was looking to get a notification from him, and I'm like, maybe I missed a notification. So I went out to his channel and I looked, and nothing there. That really shocked me. I mean, I was really shocked by that. So, yeah, that was one thing that, I was expecting to get, have a great review from him. Now, the ones I did watch, Rick Smith had one out. Billy Kyle had one out. Aldrin Astachio from Flight Path. Also watched Kelly Shores, his video, and DC Rainmaker had one as well. And all these guys did a great video. And what's nice is you get different takes from all these guys on this system. And Rick, of course, and Rick didn't have a flight video, but he does a deep dive into it. And because of his engineering background, you really get a feel and a flavor, and really kind of sense what this is engineering wise. And Rick always does a great job. And wow, he was definitely like that 13-year-old on his video, which was for sure. And one of the things, DC Rainmaker, I love his videos, and he did a great job on it as well, and showing a lot of the features. Kelly was not afraid to crash the drone. If you probably saw his video, he crashed it several times. And that, and it's kind of a good thing, because that's one of the things that people say, if you're not familiar with FPV drones, you're going to crash your drones a lot. Okay. It's going to happen. I didn't know he had a second video out, Ray, that Aldrin has a second video out. I just saw I did work today just to let you guys know what I did with the rest of my day. But from the ones that I saw, they were all well done. And what I liked about, like I said, the diversity of them. And I think one of the ones that really kind of caught my attention more than anything else was the one from Billy Kyle. And and what I like about the one from Billy is, okay, Billy approached it from the standpoint of a GPS camera drone pilot, okay, which is what he is and what most of us are. Okay, some of you do FPV, and that's a good thing. But Billy approached it from that kind of a standpoint. Now, Kelly's been into FPV for a while. I don't know about Rick, but I liked his take on it. And the reason I liked his take on it was because he really just, he gave us that flavor of what it was like from his standpoint, okay, from someone who has been doing nothing but GPS, camera, photography, drones. and that's what he does for a living. That's his job. That's what he goes out there and he does. And I think it was a great perspective on this. And one of the things like I said, Aiken Drone Flyer, welcome. Glad you're here tonight. Yeah, Billy did exactly what should be done. The view from a camera drone guy. Yes, I could not agree more. That really said it all. I mean, he really did a great job on that, Matt. And that's why, and I love all the videos, and I love all the videos for different reasons. Kelly's, I really liked it, and I hate to say this, and don't get me wrong here, Kelly, I loved your video. But one thing I really liked about it was real. You got to see him crash. Okay. He didn't edit these crashes out of his video, which I thought was fantastic, because it really showed another side of this, which is the durability of this. This looks like a durable drone. It did, when you look at it at first, it doesn't, but it really does, because he had several crashes, and, it's up and it's going, and there's no problem about it. None whatsoever. Well, see, Ray Cundiff or Matt Cundiff is going to be picking his up, so that's going to be interesting. Lauren, welcome. Glad you're here tonight. The price did not surprise me. Okay, that's one thing. I think we were kind of prepared for it. We kind of thought with options and accessories and everything that it was going to go much higher. And for the basic package, for what you get without a fly more, for what you're getting, I think that's a reasonable amount. I think you kind of can expect that. So that I think is a good thing. I think we're doing well with that. That's one thing that I think for me is that would not stop me. That would absolutely not stop me. Would be the price on this, okay? Because you're getting you're getting a lot of technology for that price, and I've always said that about DJI. You are going to pay more, okay? But you're going to be getting that great technology. That's one of the things that I really, really think of. So, and I'm anxious to find out from all of you. Okay, I know Matt's going to be picking his up tomorrow, but who else in here bit the bullet and hit the buy button on there? Drop it in the chat, because I'd really like to see who else is going to go ahead and take that plunge. Okay, for doing that. Now, for me, even if I had the money, that would not be something that I would be looking at getting. Now, what was real interesting was in this. I watched DJI. It's kind of like one of their tutorials, and they mentioned something about being able that DJI can help you with prescription glasses to fit, when you're putting this on, which I thought was really interesting. In that video, I don't know more about that. I just saw this before we tuned in tonight. That's a good question, Lauren. I haven't seen anything on that. That would be nice. I did see that. I did see some video from the simulator, and it does look very interesting. But I was intrigued by the fact that for corrective lenses, because let's face it, most of us, when we get to be mature, are wearing glasses. So it's all part of the game, and I think that's a good thing that there is. I guess DJI has some kind of a way for that. Oh, you ended up ordering directly from DJI. Okay, that's good. Matt Cundiff, I assume you're getting yours from Best Buy. That would just be a wild guess. Unless it's somewhere else, let me know. But that's it's going to be interesting to see, because one of the things that I did see on the forums today, and I did see quite a bit of talk about this, is number one, who got these to test, okay? And there was a lot of why didn't FPV guys get this to test, okay? And let me answer that question first, okay? This drone is not meant for FPV guys, okay, or gals, all right? This drone is meant to introduce people to FPV, okay? and it's meant for people, camera drone pilots like myself and like most of us out there. Okay, this is an introductory type of drone. Johnny Demon, wondering why I did not see the DJI Flymore pack in Best Buy. Are they wanting us to buy the extra battery separately? I live here in Florida. Johnny, that's a good question. I don't know. That is interesting. I would think that DJI would be matching up or Best Buy would be matching up what DJI has. So that's really kind of interesting. I don't know. The other thing I'm not real sure of, the DJI Virtual Flight. That's the app. Now I also saw how you hook up your smartphone to the goggles to download the app and to do updates and things. And I also saw too, and I wasn't aware of this. This was something that kind of surprised me. And I don't necessarily want to call this a negative, but Kelly even kind of said, you have to be real careful. The battery pack for the goggles, it's something that you run up and attach to your goggles. And he says he usually puts it in the pocket. He has one of those chairs with pockets in it when he's out flying. And if you get up, a lot of times, oh, oops, you've disconnected that battery. Well, that's something you have to be real careful and cognizant of. I wasn't aware of that. Okay. That I didn't know because I'm not as familiar with that and how that system works. But apparently that's how the battery is with that. So that's real interesting. I did not know that. DroneWorks may have the Flymore kit. Okay. That's interesting. Okay. Well, that's a couple of things that I thought were kind of different about this. The enthusiasm about this is still there. I see and I still hear a lot of enthusiasm about it. However, there were a lot of people that were out there that I saw on the forums and out on the groups and everything. It's like, why didn't some of the FPV guys get it? Well, you know what? I'll say, yeah, some of them did. Like Kelly Shores, he's an FPV guy. Okay, Kelly loves FPV drones. He loves, he's been involved with that drone racing league, as you could see with the last spin up, and he's gotten very involved with that. So he kind of bridges the gap between flying FPV and being a camera drone guy. Which is very good, and I think it was great that he got one. And all these other ones, they did a great job with their videos. I cannot. Those guys all did good. So if you get a chance, watch all their videos. I mean, each one has a different take and a different flavor on it, and I think it's really good. Aldrin did some great in different areas. There was a lot of snow in some of the scenes. There was obviously Aldrin's in California. There was dry weather in some other scenes. Where he's at, probably in Southern California. So I mean, different terrains, different things. That's a good thing. One of the features I think that will be really good on, let's see, Fly Zone Drone Cop build. Do they sell parts for it at DJI so it's replaceable? FPV is very durable. It's great. That's a good question, Fly Zone. I would imagine so. I haven't really looked in depth on the website. I mean, I just looked at the original, at the price and just the original kit and what was available with it. But I would assume they do. And I would assume, one of the things you need to invest in is a good set of screwdrivers, maybe some needle nose pliers, and some other tools, and a lot of patience, because you're probably going to be doing a lot of repairs. One of the things that did impress me that I did see from all the flight videos is Bardwell did the best review in my opinion. Okay, Lauren, that's good. One of the things that really did impress me was that image stabilization. Really, it's kind of like the Rocksteady that's on the Osmo Action, and that did a great job. Remember, this is a one-axis gimbal. It's not a three-axis gimbal like our, like the Mavic 2s are. It's a one-axis gimbal, so it's a little different on those ends. the safety that they built into this, you know, they built this for somebody who's learning FPV. Okay. It has the return to home. It has that feature where it will, you know, if it's in a wild spin, you hit a button and it'll stop right where it's at and fly level, fly and hover, which is great. All right. I think that's a fantastic feature. And I think that's something that DJI put a lot of thought into this with the options that they put in there. You know, Mikey's in the house. Welcome, Mikey. Glad you're here tonight. You know, they really put a lot of thought and research and marketing into this to see what would work. And this is a good first step into FPV for DJI, because as you know, with FPV in your builds, I know a lot of the guys really like doing their own builds, and it's really, you know, it's like building a computer. Okay. You know, and I'm trying to do an analogy here. You know, a lot of guys like building their own PCs. Well, a lot of guys like building their FPV drones. You know, you can, you know, you choose your platform, you choose your motors, you choose your ESC, you choose your wiring harness. You know, you choose all your own parts, and you kind of make it your own craft. So that's really interesting. Like, we have Marcus is in the house. Marcus, welcome.
Hey, how you doing, Bill?
Good. I mean, it's always a great day to fly, but it's doubly great when there's a new release out.
Yeah, it's in fact, yeah, you know, I'm sure like everybody else have been watching videos all day, right?
Oh yeah. So, you know, and I said this, the one person that I thought was going to get it for sure that didn't was Dustin Dunhill. He didn't get one.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
I was that really surprised me. Okay.
Yeah, and it's amazing how many of them they sent out there. There's a ton of people that got that drone, and you know, for all of the leaks that there were within the group of people that we're all familiar with, they kept it pretty well under wraps, right?
So, yeah, you know, like, well, you know, I kind of figured Rick's been quiet, Kelly's been quiet, okay. Billy was real good about it.
Yeah.
You know, and I knew Aldrin was going to get one. You know, there was the ones, and I also went to DC Rainmaker, and I really like what he had to say on his, because, you know, he was very straightforward. But the one that kind of jumped out at me, and I said this earlier, was Billy's. And the reason he said, I'm doing it from the perspective of a camera, drone, GPS pilot, okay, which that is all of us. And I think that
applies to us. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, you know, that's you, that's Ron, that's me, that's most 99% of the guys in here. And I think that from that kind of perspective, it was well done. He did a great job with that.
You know, the other one that I'm actually probably more than halfway through, probably 3/4 of the way through, Joshua Bardwell. I've not watched a lot of his videos because I've never been an FPV guy, but boy, does he explain things well. And he showed some things that I hadn't seen on anybody else's videos, and maybe I just missed them. The one that stands out to me is that cruise control feature. That you can see how that would be pretty handy. And the other thing that he said that I thought was interesting was that he leaves the spring-loaded throttle even when he's in full FPV mode. So
that's interesting. Well, I know Lauren put down, he said that was definitely his favorite video, was the one that he did. And I got that bookmark because I saw that not long before I got on the air tonight, and that's going to be one of the ones I'm going to watch a little later.
Yeah.
One of the things that I thought was real interesting for those of us that wear glasses was I was watching DJI's tutorial as well that they put out there. And apparently they have an option for your prescription in the goggles. Okay. And I barely heard that before we got on the air. And it was only like maybe a 20-second clip of that. But I thought that was interesting. I didn't know anything about that. I mean, you know, it's like I said, let's face it, those of us that are mature, you know, probably have glasses on, okay? And they're going to have to compensate for that. Well, apparently they do. They did think about that, which was real interesting.
That's one of my biggest concerns, is because I have my left eye is really nearsighted. My right eye is 20/20, but my left eye is all messed up. So I keep wondering how I would deal with those goggles. And quite frankly, Bill, that's one of the reasons that I didn't pull the trigger on that drone.
Yeah, it's the same for me as well. And I know Ron kind of mentioned the same thing was, for me, and I have the same thing with both. My eyes are almost exactly the same as yours, and, I can't, I have to wear glasses on it, and, and that spatial awareness and everything and how I would react to that. I mean, that's just, for me, I know. Now, what was real interesting was, I had a comment with DC Rainmaker, and he had briefly mentioned something about, he said, it would have been nice had DJI had an option to be able to mount your phone on the controller and then use your controller. He said, let's say, you want to get some quick shots with this drone and you're by yourself, okay? Because, in other words, you don't have a spotter with you, and you can't use your goggles. Well, it would do in a pinch like that. And he said, and he actually commented back to me on that. And he said, yeah, Bill, he says, I really hope DJI does add that as an option to be able to do that, which I thought was real interesting.
Yeah, that's the other biggest concern that I have. I mean, I typically, when I'm flying, I'm flying by myself, and I've had situations even when I'm just flying FPV, and you're so focused on the camera drone, and you're looking at the FPV view on your iPhone, and you're so focused on that. A couple different times I've had dogs come running up and jump on my back, and with people out walking their dogs and stuff, and if it'd be, how much worse would that be with those goggles on, if you don't have somebody with you?
Yeah, it would be like, almost even thinking about it, you'd get a heart attack. Somebody come up to me and they're just, hey, how you doing? Kind of
exactly right. No, exactly right. Yeah. Spot on.
Which I thought was interesting. Did you watch Mikey's video?
I did. The one that he did with Billy.
Yeah, the one he did with Billy.
Yeah, that introduction. Yeah, I mean, Mike is very excited about it. And what was funny is, he came on Drone Nation last night, and he didn't spill any beans on Drone Nation. But in retrospect, having watched the video that he put out today, he was. You could tell that was the reason he was so excited about it yesterday. So.
That would, and I thought that was a good thing. I really kind of like that. And Rick was the first video I watched, because that's the first one that it popped up like right away. So I watched his video first. But with Rick, what you get is you get all the nuts and the bolts and the engineering. You get all the whys behind everything. You get he explains the physics to it, the electronics to it. And he's always so super detailed with that. And I was going to say, one of the things I really liked about Kelly's videos was he left those crashes in there, okay? Because in FPV world, crashes are a part of life.
Well, you clearly haven't seen Bardwell's video yet.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, you got to, after the show, you got to watch it, Bill.
I will.
Yeah, he breaks the heck out of his. And I mean, it's not like I don't think he was being reckless. He's experienced, but he hit a tree and broke off an arm and ruined the gimbal, etc. And no parts available yet, by the way. Hey, I just want to mention one thing, because I think Dr. B, Ted Bowman, brings up a really good point here. And I have the same feelings he does. He said, I'd like to test out the goggle feature before I buy it, but I suspect that isn't possible. But I'm with Ted. If I could just test fly the thing someplace and find out if it's even something that would work for me, I might buy one. But not knowing that, and of course, you could go get one at Best Buy, and if you didn't like it, take it back and all that. But I don't really even want to do that either, because that's taking a drone away from somebody else that would have bought it.
Right, legitimate.
Right? So
somebody who's out there and really was, full on going to going to want to get that, and that's the thing for me too. I agree with you. I mean, it would be nice, say, if they had a set of a demo set of goggles, say like at Best Buy, and like with a playing a pre-recorded video of what it would be like, flying like that would actually be in actuality what it is, to kind of give you a sense of, hey, this is what it's really like. This is what you'll be able to experience when you put these goggles on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, one of the other things that did not surprise, what was real interesting was, and I didn't think about this, was until Kelly brought it up in his video, was that the battery pack for the goggles, Kelly says he puts it in a pocket in his chair, okay? Because you attach it to the goggles. And
I know where you're going, yeah.
And then he said he will get up, and then it's still in that pocket, and sometimes they get detached. So it's like, wow, okay.
Well, I'm wondering, there must still be some power capacity, I would think, within the goggles, right, Bill? I kind of assumed that.
Yeah,
it.
I think so too.
So that even if you lost that connection, it wouldn't just go dark on you.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it would go dark on you. I think there's some like residual power in there. You probably have at least, maybe I would say 10, 15 seconds for sure of that until you plug it back in. So, but I mean, that's just one of the things I never thought about that. I mean,
that's why we watch these videos, is that I know tons of stuff you or I would never even occur to us. Lauren is making another good point here, and I think what Lauren is getting at is that if you went to a dealer, rather than a big box store, they probably would allow you to test fly one to see if it was. Is that, Lauren confirmed that that's what you're getting at there? But I think that's what he's saying. And the thing is, I'm telling you, where I live, and this, we've got in the greater Treasure Valley here, we're about 800,000 people. There are no drone stores. There's some hobby stores, but they don't really carry much. There's no drone stores around here.
Yeah, see, it's kind of the same around here. I mean, Tampa's a big metropolitan area. There's really no quote unquote brick and mortar drone store around here at all for something like that. So, I mean, that's a good thing. And Lauren brought up a good point in, being able to go into a drone store, or a DJI drone store, they would probably have a cage set up. You could probably, put on the goggles and fly.
Or even maybe, on a weekend, they have a test flight day or something, go out and try it out or something. Yeah. Yeah, that would be, you definitely would sell some drones in a situation like that. Now, Lauren also pointed out to me, and I'm just in the process of downloading it right now, that, let me see if I can get this up here correctly, Bill, and get it to focus in. DJI Virtual Flight, which is the simulator.
Okay.
You can get on your phone. So the way this thing reads, though, is you have to hook the goggles up to it. So, I mean, I'm not sure. I think Lauren said that you could fly it with just the phone, but that'd be kind of weird. So I don't know.
Yeah, that would be, I don't know how all that works.
Yeah.
But I learned a few things when I watched that tutorial video, because I didn't know some of the real specifics and mechanics of some of these things. And it's real interesting how some of these things are with that. Well, the one thing that it did impress me was the rock steady.
Oh yeah.
From the camera. I mean, that was just insane. And you know what? That's exactly like it is. And on the action, okay? It's super smooth. I mean, it really makes a difference. And I think, I don't know who it was. It may have been DC Rainmaker. I'm not sure. One of the guys did a comparison between like a home build FPV in your feed and what you get. It's like night and day. It really is. I mean, looking at the quality of the feed that you get in your goggles, I mean, there's really kind of no comparison with that.
Yeah.
Which to me, I think it's pretty amazing. I mean, I'm pretty impressed by the difference in this. And I think, again, I think a lot of people were looking at the grainy feed from something like this and say, why should I go spend all this money and try to learn something new? And this is the best feed that I get while I'm flying. I mean, that's what I think a lot of people think about something like that.
So Bill, you just touched on price a little bit, and I think that's worth spending a few words about. I would, if this, so by the time you kit this whole thing out like you would want to get it with the Fly More package, that with the extra batteries and hub, etc., and then for sure you'd want that other controller too, the joystick controller. I mean, that thing sounds fascinating. Who wouldn't want that? So that's another couple hundred. And then if you got refresh, you're at $2,000 all in for that deal.
Mm-hmm.
And if I could be all in for $1,000 or $1,200, I might have pulled the trigger. But $2,000, it's just a bridge too far for me. And if there's something that I don't know, like for instance, you have the confidence when you bought your Mavic 2 Pro, you knew you were going to fly the heck out of it and get it.
Yeah.
This, I'm wondering, would I be flying it all the time like I do some of my other drones? I don't know that.
Yeah, I agree, Marcus. While initially the price is good from first look, but as you get down to the 5,000-foot view, you're looking like, well, you got to add the 2 extra batteries to it. If you want to buy the wand, the singular controller, that's going to cost you some money as well. And like you said, by the time you do all that, you're $2,000.
And I'm not even saying that DJI overpriced it. That's not what I'm getting at all, because I'm sure it's well worth the money. I'm just saying, for me personally, it was a bridge too far.
Oh, I agree. I agree. I don't, if I'm going to be spending $2,000 on a drone, okay, it's going to be like a Mavic 3. Okay. It's going to have every bell and whistle known to man and then some in it. I mean, I wanted to make my coffee in the morning. Okay.
There you go.
That's the kind of drone, coffee and serve me breakfast in bed kind of a thing. All right. For $2,000.
Yeah.
That's the kind of drone I better get for that kind of price. I mean, that's just, you brought up a good point, and I think it's well worth serving, because I did see a lot of comments out in the groups today and some of the forums about pricing, and a lot of people made that point. To your point too, while the $1,000, $1,200 is something that's palatable and doable for most people, wanting those extra options, those extra batteries, the other controller, and so forth.
Bardwell said, they say 20 minutes. He says he got 10 minutes out of a battery. So, yeah, you're going to want extra batteries. Lauren is making another good point here that I heard Ken Dono. I saw Ken Dono made the same point on Facebook, in that before your first flight, there are a ton of updates. So when you get that thing, you're going to be spending a bunch of time, because think about, you have to update your Fly app. You have to update the goggles. You have to update the controller. You have to update the drone. So there's a lot you have to do. And then, again, one battery, okay, you're going to be, by the time you've updated everything, your battery will probably be at 25%. And it's like, now I got to go charge it again and sit back and wait until it's all done. Yeah. And Lauren also says for $2,000, it better wear black nylons.
Well, you think about, if you're flying in the manual mode, when you can get up to 150 kilometers per hour, okay, you would be lucky to get 5-6 minutes out of something like that. Okay.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, did that make the hair on the back of your neck stand up when they put that thing in full tilt? Holy cow.
My gosh. I mean, that's like, that's like put your 5-point seatbelt harness on and get in the fast lane.
Yeah, and my COVID hair, I got lots of hair on the back of my neck now.
It's like for somebody who hasn't, like, say, get in a Corvette and punch it to the floor, like you get the thrill of being able to do. I mean, being able to do that with something like this, I think it's incredible. And one of the things that I wanted to bring up, and I know it doesn't kick in all the modes, but there are a lot. DJI has built a lot of what I'll call safety features into this. where if it's tumbling, all you got to do, you hit that red button, it'll stop.
Isn't that cool? I know.
I love that. I think that is fantastic. The other thing is, it has that return to home on there too, and it does have. I didn't see a lot of the landings, okay, but Kelly talked about precision landing with this.
Yeah, so I wonder about that too. And then in that part, he showed it landing right on the H. Now, was that for real, or was he manually landing it there?
I think it was for real. I think it was precision landing. So that's why, that's why, because I didn't see a lot of that with the other guys, but I did see that with him because I know he's done that before. He did that with the Mini 2 when he got that. He did a precision landing kind of a deal. So, he is kind of cognizant of that. And that was really interesting to see that. I wasn't expecting that. Okay. And those sensors, to have the sensors on the front and on the bottom of the drone, that's a good thing. I mean, you don't really get that with a normal FPV drone, which I thought was.
The other thing that Bardwell said is, though, just because it'll slow the drone down, but it won't stop it. So if you keep that stick forward, it'll still fly into whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's not like you're flying, like, okay, when I'm back there and, I'm trying to avoid the hot tub when I'm taking off, and that sensor is just beeping like crazy. Okay. Right. There's none of that with this. Okay. It'll still go. For me, I'll move that stick as much as I want to move that stick. It's not going anywhere. Okay. But I'll tell you what, you're right. It gives you that, but basically it's like that, what do they call it? That haptic feedback kind of a thing. The drone is slowing down. There's a reason for it, and you need to avoid the obstacle. Otherwise, look out.
Yeah, and just like the Fly app, you kind of get that orange bar at the top. So, yeah, that'll be cool. But so one of the things that some of the features we see on this, I'm wondering, are giving us a little bit of a preview of what we might see on the Mavic 3. I'm just wondering.
I was thinking the same thing, Marcus, today, and I saw a few people had those comments as well. Is this a precursor to what's coming up in the future as far as that's concerned? Are we looking at a shape and a body like this as well? That's, it's yet to be determined. But I think one of the things that I was actually surprised at, because I wasn't aware of how physically big it was until somebody put it up next to a Spark. Okay. And I'm like, holy cow, this thing is not big. Okay. I just from looking at the pictures, it looked a lot bigger than I thought it was.
Than what it really is. Hey, there he is.
Hello, guys. Any truth to the rumors that DJI released a new drone?
I don't know. I'm hearing that they did.
Yeah.
Sorry I'm late, folks. It's been a hectic day, but better late than never, they used to say when I was young.
Did you get the car service though, Ron? That's what I want to know.
The car is serviced and everything's okay.
Good.
We got the tires rotated, oil changed.
Love it.
So gentlemen, how are you tonight?
We are just FPVing the heck out of it, Mr. Brown.
I expect to see Bill with the goggles on.
Yeah, well, what was real interesting was, and I told Marcus about this, I was watching DJI's tutorial video for it, and they talked about an option for corrective lenses.
Oh, really?
Yes, that really kind of intrigued me. It was maybe about 10 minutes into it, and I'm like, this is really cool. I didn't know that they had that option. Yeah,
I know the Fat Sharks, you could get diopters that match, your correction of vision. I'm kind of lucky, even though I would say I have bad vision. Somehow I could put goggles on, and I really don't need. They kind of work okay for me without my glasses. I don't know why, because I have pretty bad vision, but I can wear goggles without glasses.
Yeah, see, Marcus and I, no way.
Well, I wonder. I've never tried goggles, Bill. So I
didn't either. So
but Beta FPV got a hold of me a while back, and they are sending me one of their little ready-to-fly kits. And, of course, it's analog, so it's going to be completely different. But that will give me a chance to try it out and see. Another point that I wanted to make here real quick, I think we should be perfectly honest about this show that the three of us are doing right now. None of the three of us are FPV guys at all. So it's the three of us talking about an FPV drone coming from a camera drone perspective. So
well, we had a little bit of discussion this morning, and that may be the core audience for this drone. What do you think, Bill? We suspect the core audience may be camera guys being curious about FPV rather than FPV people buying it. So
yeah,
we may be the target customer, not the Joshua Barwells of the world.
I agree 100%, Ron. And that's Ron or Marcus and I had talked about that. And, you know, a lot of this, and you know, I loved all the reviews that were out there. Okay. And I know Barnwell, he did a good one, but for me personally, I don't know him as well as a lot of our core guys. But the one that really kind of jumped out to me was Billy's. And the reason Billy's jumped out to me was he did it from the perspective of a camera GPS drone guy, okay, which is what all of us are, and most of us in the chat are, you know, from that kind of perspective. And that kind of it made a whole lot more sense coming from him and how he flies a drone, because how he flies a drone is how usually how the three of us fly a drone, you know, to set it up to get that camera shot, you know, if we're, you know, no matter what we're shooting, you know, it's all involved in a process of getting that shot and getting it set up. And that's what Billy, and he took it from that perspective. And that's why I appreciated his a lot.
Very true. And, you know, I enjoyed his video also. And there's the footage he had of flying low to the ground over that golf course. I mean, it's spectacular footage. And, you know, I don't know what I'm talking about with FPV, but, you know, that's a great shot. But I mean, like, okay, for me, that would be something like that would be like, if I was making a video, I'd love to have that shot in it, but I don't know if I want a whole video of that same shot. In fact, I may be way off the course here, Bill, but I was talking to Marcus, you know, off camera, and I was saying, you know, if I got this, I mean, I'd probably, be, flying it, learning for like a month or 2 months or whatever. But I don't know if that initial honeymoon period's over, I don't know how much I use it. I said, it may be another Skydio for me. I think the Skydio is a great drone, but I don't really fly it that much. Does that make any sense, Bill?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense, because, I know both you and Marcus love the Skydio too, but it's just like, is that the drone that you want to go out and fly all the time? I know Marcus loves
this. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Bill, but
no, go ahead.
That Ron is exactly right about the Skydio 2. That said, I absolutely don't regret buying that drone, and I'm so glad that I have it and it's there when I want to fly it. If that makes any sense.
No, I can see the FPV drone being the same thing. Maybe there's one shot you want to get one time and it'll do it or whatever, and maybe you don't regret it, but I kind of regret having a whole bunch of drones that don't get flown much. And I don't know why. I mean, nothing wrong with that, but I kind of feel bad if I don't really fly the drone consistently. Bill, you ever had that where you have drones? I mean, you think you like the drones, but they never really get to fly much?
Look at Marcus is pointing back there.
This stack is this high. It's drones all the way to the floor.
It's real interesting, and I don't want to share with you guys real quick. My next door neighbor just put in for his dad for a birthday present. Got he and his wife an American flagpole. It's like about a 25, 30-foot flagpole that he put on the back of his property, the end of the property that he just purchased, which is great. Okay. And one of the great things about that is, it acts kind of like a windsock. So you know which way the wind is. And I have to tell you this, almost the entire month of January and February, and also into March, usually March is like a windy month, all right? It's been like that all year long. I mean, 30, 35-mile-an-hour winds almost every single day. That's why you haven't seen that many videos from me. I mean, it's like I can't even get my Phantom up. It's been so windy. I mean, it's just like and it's just not where we're at. Okay, it's like we've gone down to where our new house is. It's the same way over there. It's just like you can't get up and fly right now. It's just not one of those things.
You got to see Old Glory fly a lot in January, huh?
Oh yeah, and you know what? Oh, this was funny. Real quick side note here. Okay, my dog noticed it and she started barking like crazy. I mean, just it's just like all of a sudden out of the blue, she sees, because she's not normally used to seeing that out there. Okay, so she sees it out there and she starts barking. Well, they also put a light on it because it's he doesn't take it down. So you have in protocol says you got to have a light on the flag at night. Okay,
you got to take it down at sunset. Yeah.
There's a light on the flag, and my dog saw that the other night, and she started barking again too, which was absolutely hilarious. Wanted to welcome some people in the chat here before we get too far in. Leonard Oglesby is here. Greg Pittman is here. Tex Arch Drone Guy is here. Bill from Metro Drones. Thank you once again for your super chat. That is awesome. Fly Zone Drone. Yep. Jay Bird's here. Addie Overbeeks. Of course, Lauren's here. Preston Jensen. Preston, welcome. Good to see you, my friend. Haven't seen you for a while. Johnny Drone Flyer's here. Let's see who else. Aiken Drone Flyer. Okay, I think we covered it all. I just wanted to make sure that we got everybody touched.
And I just want to clarify with Lauren. I only have the Guinness Cup because it was close. It was close by. I'm sponsored by Mountain Dew tonight.
It just looks like beer.
It may look like beer, but yeah, he's right. I got a lot of showing tonight, so I got to have something to keep me pumped up. Mountain Dew. I think it leaves the ligand caffeine.
Yes.
So Ron, is that the full sugar Mountain Dew, the kind?
Oh yeah. Oh no. We don't mess around with any diet or low sugar around here. We go. We drink balls to the walls around here, kind of relating this back to the drone show.
Yeah.
One of the things that I told Marcus was that actually surprised me about the reviews today was one person I didn't see a review from, and that was Dustin Dunhill. They didn't get him a drone.
Wow.
That's surprising.
He'll do a race.
Dustin was too busy putting the DJI Air system on that RC car.
Yeah,
and taking all over the neighborhood.
Yeah, I did see that, and that's a good video. I mean,
listen, I want to throw you something real fast, Bill. Of all the specs you saw today, we finally saw the final specs on the FPV drone. What spec kind of, I won't say surprised, what spec kind of caught your eye the most today?
The speed in manual mode. That just was just off the frickin' charts. I mean, I knew it was going to be fast, but that's crazy fast. And like Marcus said in Barnhill's video, when he cranked it up, it's like you felt like, what I felt like? It's like Tom Cruise in Top Gun, okay? And he's punching the throttle in it. And it's just like, that's the closest we'll ever get to something like that.
Bill, I thought you were going to say Willie Stargell hitting a fastball out of Three Rivers Stadium in the early 70s.
Yeah, well, Willie, he was one of the only ones to hit him in the upper deck, and he also hit him in the upper deck at Veterans, which was similar to Three Rivers, okay? Yeah. And he hit one through one of those openings there too. That's
Lauren is making a comment here that there are indeed two manual modes, and Joshua Bardwell showed that one where you can actually do full acro, and another one that's kind of more safety. It won't let you do a flip to keep you from losing control. I want to
that's different from sport mode.
Yes, it is,
because I understood it had the
you got normal, sport,
N for normal, S for sport, and then M for manual. But I was not aware that it had two versions of manual,
two different manual modes.
How do you find that second manual?
That's in the
switch on the controller,
no.
Or you have to go into settings. Well, I don't know how you go to settings because it doesn't have an app, right? Everything's done from the remote.
Bardwell shows you how to do it within the app, and it's in your goggles, Ron.
Oh,
and the joystick on the side of the goggles. But Ron, I want to answer your question that you gave to Bill.
Bill, well, what feature, what spec or feature did you say that's today that surprised you the most?
And I expect you to answer as well. For me, and I told this to Bill earlier today, it was the cruise control. I thought that was slick.
Well, I didn't see the cruise control.
Yeah.
Give me a capsule of
you can kind of auto set the throttle at a certain speed, and then you're just focused on flying the drone, and it's staying in whatever that speed mode is.
Oh no, I like that.
Yeah.
And so what's yours, Ron?
Talk to us.
I guess that I guess there's 3 modes. Maybe because we kind of like all the other specs we kind of knew in advance, right? I mean, like the rumors were it flew 70 miles per hour, but it actually does 85. Well, that extra 15 miles, yeah, that's nice. But I mean, we knew it was going to go fast, so an extra 15, I don't know how fast. So I guess I would say those modes.
Hey, let me expand on that for a second. I want Potato Jet's video. I don't know if you guys saw that.
I was on the road all day. I watched Billy's, and then that's all I saw.
Oh, dude, I've been watching them on my phone all day when I was.
Yeah, I mean, I've been driving. I just haven't. This is the first time I've really sat down in front of the computer since early this morning.
We don't accept those excuses here, Ron.
and it shows how much I'm interested in getting the FPV drone. If it was a Mavic, I'd have somehow got to watch them, right?
Yeah. Well, anyway, Potato Jet was saying yes, 87 miles an hour advertised. He didn't come out and say it, but he alluded to the fact that you needed to be. Yeah, Mikey is saying he had it up to 90. Potato Jet alluded to the fact that you could go beyond the FAA's maximum speed limit for drones, which is 100 miles an hour.
No.
Oh. And not get pulled over?
Oh. Yeah.
No, hey, I'm going to re-answer the question. The spec that surprised me the most, they wasn't actually spec. It was the price. $12.99 for the base kit. Then another $300 for the Fly More kit. So we're at $1,600 now. Then that wand. Now we're at $1,800 because that's $199. Then the DJI Care Refresh, another $200. So now you're at $2,000 when you have your system kind of specced out the way you want it. Was that a little bit sticker shock for you guys?
Yes, and we talked about that. It's like the 12. You can bite the bullet at $1,200. Okay, I could pallet that. All right.
You might say $1,300, not $1,200.
Yeah, $1,300. Yeah, you could kind of that's kind of palatable. It's kind of doable. But I'm thinking I'm going to be getting a lot for that, and you are, but you're not getting. Like Marcus said, the first thing that when you get this, there's going to be updates for everything. Okay, for the goggles, for the controller, for the drone itself. Okay, and it's going to chew up most of that one battery. So you're going to have to, as soon as you're done with those updates, you're going to have to charge that battery again. So you definitely got to get more than one battery, and those batteries, by the way, individually are $150 a piece. I mean,
and Bardwell said he was getting 10 minutes out of a battery, and I believe him.
Yeah. Right. Well, Billy said in the video, like, if you fly balls to the walls the whole time, he was only getting 7 minutes. So, but he said if you fly gentle, you get more. So, yeah, $150. That's the price of a Mavic 2 battery, I believe.
Yeah, you're getting a Phantom or a Mavic battery in those kind of prices, and that's just like wow. Okay, and you're right. It is a bit of a sticker shock. And I think that's one of the things that, it's one of the things you kind of wrestle with something like this, because by the time all is said and done, if you really want to get everything that you really need for this and you want to make the investment, like Marcus said, you said $2,000, you're at $2,000.
Right. I mean, you could say, well, you don't really need that wand, but the first time you watch the big YouTube channels do some amazing things with that wand, you'll want to get it.
Oh yeah,
Potato Jet flew with it, and it looked cool just watching.
See what I mean? They've already got you, Marcus. They already got your extra $200 on that wand.
Well, let me tell you. So Potato Jet put, his girlfriend. He put his girlfriend on it with the wand, and she just immediately took right to it. It was so intuitive. She had no problems flying the drone.
Well, see, and it's funny, okay, because I had an E-Sheen with a wand, okay.
Well, that's a little different.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That thing without
The
wand.
golden egg.
Yeah. Okay. And I know that this wand actually works. Okay. The difference between that, but it doesn't go. What's interesting with the wand, it doesn't go backwards. Okay. Like if you flip it back, it's not going to go backwards. Right. Which I thought was real interesting.
That's kind of like the beacon on the sky too. You can only go like forward when you're flying it just with the beacon or whatever.
You got to fly it. You got to turn it around and fly it back.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, I want to change gears completely here for a second. About getting this drone, and our style of reviewing drones, and especially Marcus, he loves to have the screenshot. He loves to have that screenshot up there. Well, as of right now, this has no app or whatever. So, Marcus, that would throw your whole reviewing style off a bit because you'd have to go out there and you wouldn't be able to show screen information, right?
Well, I'm not exactly clear on that, Ron. So you can put an SD card in the goggles and record what the goggles see, but I don't think it includes that telemetry that you're talking about. So,
okay, yeah, and you're just going to see what the goggle sees. If that's just everything but the telemetry, well, why even do it then? Just use the same video that coming off the memory card, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. I mean, for reviewers, it's going to be because like I think Billy mentioned, like you could take your GoPro out, but as soon as the drone flies away from you, you'll never see it again. On the camera.
Right. So what you see in the goggles, Ron, is going to be unstabilized video, and what you get off the SD card on the drone is going to be with the Rocksteady applied to it.
Oh, good. Well, that's good though. But of course, why would you want to show people that unsteady thing for the goggles? I mean, how would that enhance the?
I'm kind of with you.
The video. Okay, I'm going to show like a low res, unsteady version of my flight.
Here's why I would probably always record in the goggles too, is for a backup in case you lost the drone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
does this have the Find My Drone feature that the other premium DJI drones have?
I haven't seen anything about that.
I don't know either, but
we don't know that. We don't have that information yet.
I'm saying in the chat right now that Nurk flew it with the goggles and his phone in front of him with the app running. So, so what you could do, that's a great point. So what you could do is you could screen record off of your phone, and then you would have what the Fly app sees, and with all of that flight data.
Real quick, guys, how do you see this as a DJI release? Is this one of the big DJI releases? Is this an all-star in their lineup, or what I'm saying is this like in up there with the Mavic, or any of the Mavic 1 was like the first big one, the Mavic 2 or the Phantom 4. Is this iconic drone release from DJI, or is this like another spark?
You want me to go first, Bill?
Go for it.
Ron, I'm going to say that it's probably going to be someplace between, selling a gajillion Mavic Minis and the Mavic 2 Pro, someplace in the middle, someplace. I'm sure it'll be a successful product. Will they sell a gajillion of them like they do the Mini? No, but they'll sell a ton of them, and it'll be a popular product.
Yeah, $2,000 and won't have to sell that many.
Well, my thing is it's going to pull people into FPV, okay? And I think it's going to succeed very well at doing that. And the things, there are so many pluses to this. I like the fact that it's going to pull people into FPV. And I think Rick Smith kind of mentioned it. It's like with an FPV build, if you're not electronically inclined, if you can't solder, you don't
have a 3D printer,
right? If you don't have a 3D printer, you got to have a skill set to do real, what I'll call true FPV. Okay, it takes a lot of skill to do it, a lot of patience, and you're putting parts together. It takes a good electronics knowledge, especially getting the right battery on there, getting the right kind of frame on there, the right motors, ESCs, the control boards, the whole thing. Okay. You're building the whole thing, which that can be great. Okay,
yeah.
For those guys,
20-year-old Bill would have loved doing stuff like that.
Yeah,
right?
20-year-old Bill would have ate that up, but 63-year-old Bill, is going to pass with a big P on that. I mean, it's like okay, you know, you look at a lot of these, you know, ready to, you know, cars that you come from Banggood, okay, and some of the four-wheel drive rock crawlers and everything. I was looking at a couple of build videos from you. You guys probably heard of Tamiya, the model company out of Japan, okay, yeah. And they build a lot of these things, okay. I looked at one of the build videos on there, okay, and I'll tell you what, there are so many small parts on this thing, and I mean, you actually build the transmissions on it and everything, and I'm like, okay, wait a second. I'm 63 years old. Okay, you know, you know, they have all kind of magnifying glasses and things, and the guy did it, and apparently, this one guy out there, you can actually pay for him to build it for you. Okay, a lot of these kits. It's just like it's crazy, because you know, for me, I'm going to go out to Banggood and get the one that's already built.
And you know, man, listen, I guarantee you, for people like us, I'm willing to bet that some of the features that we're seeing on this drone that are attractive to us, we'll see on the Mavic 3 when it comes out, as in things like cruise control, things like probably a faster drone. I'm willing to bet that Mavic 3, heck, I don't need to go 100 miles an hour. But if I could go 60 miles an hour in a drone, I would be in hog heaven.
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't doubt something like that either. And you know, you know, some other kind of capabilities, like you've always said, and this is one of the things. Marcus kind of coined this. Okay, it's like DJI will think of something that you haven't even begun to think of, and once you find out about it, you got to have that drone. I mean, it's just like. You know, that's one of my favorite things I think Marcus has ever said. And he's so right. There'll be something on that drone that you haven't even begun to thought of that DJI put on there. It's just, I got to have it. It's just, I got to have that.
So
does this drone have that feature? What's the feature on this drone that you didn't think you needed that it has?
Oh, you talking to me?
Anybody.
Oh, for me? Well, to me, it's probably the ease of it, that it's all together. Okay, that it's not a kit. Okay, I think that's to me that's
the secret sauce for you. Yeah, it's good answer. Good answer.
It's all together.
Cruise control and speed. Now the downside, as a video camera drone guy, man, the first thing I noticed with this thing is you're always going to have props in the shot all the time.
Yeah,
and that's I think that's a common thing, you know, in the FPV field.
Exactly right. It's just a fact, but it's just a fact. Yeah.
Yeah, because when you put 150-degree field of view on a camera, and it's going to be hard to keep things out of that field of view.
Right.
Well, Lauren put up a good point. Camera drones want more flight time over speed, and that's usually the case. Lauren put that up there, and that makes
a good point. And you know what? I think Marcus, I think it was Marcus I talking. You know, when the Mavic 3 comes out, hopefully this year. Not wink wink DJI. I mean, the current one does about almost 45 miles per hour. So you think that they'd speed bump it a little bit. Maybe the Mavic 3 will do 50 miles per hour better.
I think they probably will, and I think we're going to see as good as the sensor was on the Mavic 2, I think it's gonna knock your socks off on the Mavic 3. I think the low light capabilities in something like this, it's like if there's barely any light out there, it's gonna be like you're gonna see as the human eye sees. I think it's gonna be that close to that.
If they could bump the iOS up a little bit without bringing too much digital noise in, that would allow them to be even better in low light.
And that's what I think we're going to see with something like that. You know, this. You know, I look at it. You know, for me, my overall impression of this. Okay, this is like DJI dipped its toes in a different way when the Mavic Pro came out, the Mavic Pro 1. Okay, you know, it was something that was completely new, a collapsible, foldable drone. Okay, and it made a statement in the market. Okay. And everybody's been trying to copy it since. Everybody. and now, you know, look how the iterations that we've had, and we're getting ready to have our third iteration of that. And, you know, the minis come out from that. You know, the Air has been now made like that. And, you know, clones are made like that. I mean, and here we are. This is DJI's foray into FPV, but they did it in such a way that they're going to make it so it's going to be so people like, it would get people like us camera guys to dip our toes into the water with something like this.
You know what I'm looking forward to about this drone?
What's that?
We are going to see some frickin' cool videos on
YouTube. Yeah. I'm kind of amped up for that. I'm waiting for that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm also waiting for? Okay. And I can guarantee you, okay. I mean, you know how much I love Original Dobo. You know, we should have odds on the table in Vegas on when he's going to crash it and have a disastrous crash on his DJI FPV drone.
Did you guys see his flight? Did you see his first flight on? Well, I just saw it on Facebook. He just put it directly on Facebook.
No, I didn't see it.
Yeah. It's pretty good. You know, I mean, just
Bill, as long as he doesn't crash at the Great Florida Drone Meetup on March 20th.
That's true. That's very true. As long as there's no wind on that great on Ray's Day. I mean, it's just the wind has just been horrible down here. I mean, with a
so I shouldn't bring the mini down to Florida, huh?
No, definitely
bring the big boys down, huh?
Yeah, you need your Mavic 2 Pro for sure. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Hey, don't tell anybody I said this, Bill, but I think the Evo 2 is even a little bit better in the wind because it's a little bit heavier.
That's what I kind of have a sneaking suspicion.
I mean, they're not a big difference, but it doesn't seem to get pushed around as much in the wind as the Mavic 2.
You're probably right on that score.
So,
well, guys, let's have some final thoughts here. Wrap it up. Go ahead, Marcus.
Well, okay. I'll just kind of reiterate some of the points that I made earlier. Boy, am I interested in it? You can't be a drone guy and not be interested in this thing, of course. And like I said, if it was a little bit cheaper, heck, I'd have pulled that trigger, whether I was sure about it or not. But at $2,000, and I'm not 100% sure that it's the right product for me, I'm not going to do that yet. Now, as we watch some more videos and we see some people that we know have more experience with it, it possibly could. But that's kind of where I'm sitting right now. And it's an exciting product. And congratulations to DJI. They always just knock it out of the park, and they throw features in there that just blow our minds. So, yeah, it's amazing. And again, I'm really looking forward to the productivity of some YouTube videos that we're going to see with this. Ron.
Yeah, thank you, Marcus. Good, very good thoughts. My thoughts are, I mean, it looks like a homegrown drone. I mean, it's got these awesome specs, build quality. It takes great video, and hopefully, it finds the right customer in the marketplace. But for me, I think for right now, I'll just be happy to watch my friend Matt Kundolf fly his DJI FPV drone at the Great Florida Drone Meetup March 20th in Sebastian, Florida. I'll just sit back in my lawn chair and watch him, perform all the maneuvers for me before I'll make a decision. So let me throw it back over to Bill to see if he's going to be running down to Best Buy Thursday afternoon.
Probably not. but I'm going to be like you. I'm living vicariously through a lot of these guys to see how it is. And I think if I'm right, I think maybe Mr. Moran Brown said that he's saving his hard-earned coins for a Mavic 3. Okay, and I think Marcus is in total agreement, and so am I. Well, with the exception of a possible, with a definite FEMI Mini coming out, okay,
or the Altel
Mini coming out, though that will be my next drone purchase. Will be that, but I'll be looking forward to these videos. And the thing for me is, they're dipping their toes in the water in this, and DJI has never not been successful. So,
hey, Bill, I just thought of one more quick point that we ought to throw out there. So
sure.
aware of it. This FPV drone does not have any kind of integrated remote ID. The Mavic 3 coming out very likely will. So now, and I realize remote ID is going to affect us for a couple of years yet, but it's just something that you need to be aware of. That's all.
That's a good point. That's a real.
Well, they'll have the FPV Drone 2 out by then.
They will, Ron. I get. I know, and they'll probably have a module or something else. But I just think it's something that people should be aware of.
No, that's a good point. But and I think the thing that I'm real pleased about with it is it looks like they're going to have parts, and it looks like one of the other things you probably need to purchase with this. You better get a great set of screwdrivers and a great set of needle nose pliers, okay? Because you're probably going to be needing them, and maybe some of that quick bond glue and Loctite and things like that. Because if you're gonna take this seriously, you're gonna be repairing this drone, okay? There's just no ifs, ands, or ways.
And folks, also you might as well go out and buy a good visual observer while you're at it too.
Yeah.
Yes,
we're all gonna need stew.
Well, guys, make sure you look for where you're gonna find Ron after this show. With Mikey. So make sure you guys head on over there. Oh, I also want to let you know next month I got an email from Jack from Half Chrome Drones. I'm going to be making a guest appearance on Half Chrome Drones sometime next month.
Well, definitely let us know. We'll come on the show and support you. The Build a Drone Review Army will take over the chat that night.
That's right. That's right.
Rephrase that, Bill. We'll harass you from the chat.
I don't. I don't know the two Jacks. What's the other guy's name besides Jack on Half Chrome?
I think of that the other day.
The other guy, not Jack, but the other guy, he put out a video just the other day with the Evo 2 where he was filming around a smokestack at sunrise. He got some awesome colors. He did some awesome maneuvers. I want to post that around for people to say, oh, you can't fly the Evo 2 cinematically or whatever. Well, the guy from Half Chrome did it.
I know Jack's name, but I forgot. I met both of them.
And I'm not dishing the other guy, and the other guy's just as good as Jack. I just don't know his name.
I met both of them at the Mavic.
Well, when you're on the show, you report the name back to us.
I sure will, guys. Everybody, have a great rest of your evening. Don't forget to watch Ron on Mikey right now.
Thanks for joining us tonight, folks.
Good night.